Oppa Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Oppa Gangnam Style.
Con los terroristas.
These popular videos are widely spread through the process of internet sharing, typically through video sharing, websites, social media, and email. We call them viral video. Gangnam Style has reached more than 2 billion views on YouTube. And this, no matter what kind of arm shake you watch, you just want to watch more. What about the baby? The cute little thing is crying for its mother's song, and people just love it. What are the common characteristics among them? Yes, they all go viral, they're funny and entertaining, and also, they're not selling anything. But when it comes to branded viral videos, good brands get so much attention.
There are different ways in which a viral video can work and cannot work. But I think if a strategy or strategies are used by a producer, i.e. the manufacturer of the campaign, and they are effective with the consumer of the campaign, then yes, that it seems to work. It's about I think, connecting to something, whether that something is emotional, whether that something is tragic, whether that something is funny, that a very broadly based audience can, number one, understand, and number two, connect to personally. I think that's also an important part of this. I think a lot of the kind of viral campaigns that we see, and the ones that really work, often connect to a kind of level of the personal. They speak to the individual, right? They speak to the individual personally.
What Dove did here is they hired an FBI-trained forensic artist, the kind of person who does composite sketches in police investigations. And instead of doing an investigation, they had this artist sit behind a screen and ask women to describe themselves.
What would be your most prominent feature?
Kind of have a fat, rounder face.
The older I've gotten, the more freckles I've gotten.
He then drew portraits based on their descriptions without looking at them. He then drew a second portrait of each woman based on the description of a stranger, and the purpose of the ad was to show the difference between women's perceptions of their own beauty and how strangers see them.
Because of the number of views that it's had and the amount of editorial activity, it's certainly started a conversation.
Conversations on YouTube to keep feeding the interest on the video. There are lots of people who come to me to say how many different times they have watched the video already. We are getting so much traction on YouTube. I mean, there's some incredibly large numbers.
Well, I think it highlights the difference between bought media, which is the advert, which obviously they showed a very small part of that on the bought media, whereas the viral video, of course, started off as owned media and then became earned media when people were commenting upon it all of the time.
Stream of comments on something like YouTube become just as much a part of the video as the video itself.
Dove has this mission of turning beauty into a source of confidence and not anxiety for a long time. The brand has always been about real women. What was really like a tipping point was around 2004 with Campaign for Real Beauty. And the latest part of this campaign is Real Beauty Sketches. Only 4% of the women in the planet think that they are beautiful. And it was really just an idea to bring an FBI-trained sketch artist and show the contrast between how women see themselves and how others see.
Well, again, I think that's an interesting question, because when you look at the follow-up comments on Twitter to the YouTube video, they come into two camps. Some people, predominantly female, are saying it's very emotional, it's very believable, it's very credible. But other people, perhaps wearing their more cynical hat, are saying, oh, they're all actors, all they're just trying to do is to make you buy more soap and things of this sort.
People online, though, also pointed out the way that this ad reinforced, as you say, some classic stereotypes about female beauty. Thinner chins, smaller noses, no crow's feet, things like that. So some people have criticized the ad for actually reinforcing women's feelings of being dependent on their beauty for their value. So it's certainly not overall entirely positive, but I think has been relatively successful so far.
It isn't all positive, so there is some negative comment as well, but that's often good, because if you're starting a conversation in real life, nothing is ever 100% positive.
The intent was to create brand love and translate that brand love in a longer-term relationship between the audience and the brand. We need to take risks and try to create even more content that will be meaningful to people.
Branding that's in there is very, very little. There's virtually nothing on Dove right until the very end. So people think it's a piece of theatre, yeah, rather than an actual bought advert. I think that's why it works. Certainly fits in with its brand identity, and I mean there is some branding at the end. And again, if you think about how people would have found that YouTube video, there was a short advert which was bought media, and there was the link there to follow on, and then it counts the fact that it was shared as well. So they knew what they were doing. I mean, it's been very, very carefully plotted. There will have been objectives. It isn't just an altruistic campaign. It is very much part of their business strategy.
We brought the best brains that we could reach from Google, from YouTube specifically, to have a conversation about how to find what were the best ways for more people to engage with the content.
That we're actually part of a very, very powerful few. There are platforms here which are huge, international, global conglomerate platforms, i.e. Google, i.e. Facebook, YouTube. Yeah? These platforms often kind of seduce us as a user into believing that we're just using them freely, and into believing that there isn't a kind of discourse of advertising within them, that we're just viewing these kind of viral videos as if they were, videos that our friends had made, or videos that aren't really advertising things to us, but they are, of course.
Do we just do this anytime?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, take your time. We're ready.
Oh.
And so we can kiss. I'm wasting my time. Adding scars to my heart. Cause all I hear is I'm not ready now.
Good to go whenever.
You can see they're quite awkward.
Yeah, of course it's a good film.
And some are quite shy.
Let's look at each other for a second, okay? Okay. Let's look at each other for a second, okay? Okay.
That was a good one. I'm sorry. How did they fix it before? Can't help but wonder if it was staged, whether they did actually get people walking by.
Everyone's new favorite viral video is fake.
Reason for this film was because it's an advertisement for a clothing company called Wren. R-W-R-E-N.
I'd probably guess that.
Well, I could believe it.
It seemed like a little bit too good to be true.
It would have made a difference to me if it was real.
Well, they were good actors because you didn't think that they were acting, so it still felt like they were having a good time and experiencing what they were experiencing.
It was funny anyway. Parts of it were funny.
It's diluted the memory of the video, and the video doesn't feel as strong to me anymore. But because the acting was so good, I think part of it was definitely spontaneous.
It's still the first kiss, even if they are acting it, it's still the first kiss for them.
But I suppose that's what advertising is about, really, isn't it? Is being kind of subtle with your message.
I think it's dangerous because if they start here, although this video I don't have a problem with, what if they're so good at manipulating emotions someday that I just don't even realize anymore that they're playing with my heartstrings or playing it, they just make me cry when they want to, make me buy their stuff when they want to, and that's a really dangerous world. So that worries me, because it used to be that they just say, buy my t-shirts, they look like this, but today they put all these shows on and you don't even know whether it's them or not until you've already spent your money, and then, oh, okay, it turns out we were cheating you all along or putting on a show. But now I don't have a problem with it, because I think yeah, it brings up quite a lot of good messages that we need to hear anyway. And if they won't do it, then who will? So
Mostly okay, but it does make you think.
How you're being manipulated by, say, if it was politics, for example, and you get manipulated by the message that they're given, and it's not real.
So I suppose it depends how they use that.
And what the subject is.
It depends what's being advertised. I
Yeah,
feel it's closed. I mean, depending on the ethics of the company itself, I don't actually know about the company. But if it was, a somewhat ethical company, they haven't got a bad record, sort of environmentally, with their manufacturing.
Yeah.
The social side,
fair
it's
enough.
appealed to my emotions. It's been successful. But if it was a company that was a lot more sinister and I didn't agree with, then I would be angry.
A lot of the time as well, social media audiences are actually aware of the truth. I think they know that media is strategy. They know that media is construction, but they continue to consume. They still enjoy the moment of consumption. They still enjoy the moment of kind of connecting, if you like, to that particular campaign.
It creates real feelings in people while they're watching it, whether they feel like awkward or they feel like, oh my God, that's amazing, or whatever it is. It's like it's actually engaging people like in an authentic way.
It's also interesting to note and to kind of see the ways in which parody works there. That if the user is in some way doubtful, or the user in some way thinks, oh, this is absurd, this is ridiculous, then they can parody it, they can mock it, they can question it. And social media likes to do that. It likes to allow the user a kind of way in to then submit their own videos which mock something like the First Kiss campaign or the Dove campaign, for instance.
Hi, I'm Jacob. I've never killed anybody before. Is this going to be too bloody, guys? I like it.
Existing text, so a dominant text, i.e. the Kiss example that you used, is also subject to a kind of copying mechanism or a mode of copying. And parody is often the kind of way of copying something but mocking it, okay? Making it into something which is funny, ironic, ridiculous, absurd. The kind of notion of parody as publicity is of course going to allow the original campaign, the original kind of viral video, to yield a great degree of power, particularly in relation to how it is viewed and the ways in which it is parodied.
You can argue that is when something has really become part of culture, when people start to parody it.
These are characteristics of a new kind of media and a new kind of culture where anyone has access and the audience defines the popularity. But there are over 48 hours of video uploaded to YouTube every minute. And of that, only a tiny percentage ever goes viral and gets tons of views and becomes a cultural moment. So how does it happen?
Video producers believe YouTube is the most effective platform to launch the 3-minute film. Dove Real Beauty Sketches was launched in 25 languages to 46 YouTube channels and quickly amassed a global reach and buzz. In order to make a video go viral, simply uploading the video just isn't enough. A data distribution strategy is absolutely needed. Once users open YouTube, the first thing that comes up is the masthead on the homepage. The ads that are put on it changes frequently, but it is an undeniably good place to catch your eyes. Dove added a YouTube homepage masthead in the US, giving Dove 100% share of voice for a day on YouTube.com. When you search Dove, the video, Dove Real Beauty Sketches, will pop up in the first place. Dove anticipated search drift and made sure they captured interested audiences actively looking for them. They added search and TrueView in search, gathering hand raisers from both Google.com and YouTube.com. TrueView in search ads appear in YouTube results when the viewer's search is related to the ad's keywords, like Dove. Then, videos are easier to gain more exposure. Have you ever noticed these naughty ads always appearing right before the videos you really want to watch? But you can easily skip this pre-roll ad after 5 seconds by clicking your mouse. It is a YouTube ad format named TrueView, which lets the user choose whether or not to watch the video. Dove increased global investment in TrueView in-stream. In that case, Dove knew they were reaching an engaged audience and saw paid views drive earned views. I like this video, I will watch it in its entirety, no matter if it's an ad or not. That's why advertisements are not like selling these days. Brands want to create a two-way communication and create a buzz.